alas, we have Honorable from Ghana, my brother, Honorable Adams Abdul Salam. Thank you for joining this evening. I know you're on recess, but you've come out of recess to attend to us, and we sincerely appreciate that. Could you just very quickly introduce yourself? Let us know who we're speaking to. I think there's no person better to bring you up than for you to bring yourself up. So just tell us a little bit about yourself. And like I've already told everybody, you're a current lawmaker at the Parliament of Ghana. So over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me, and hello to everyone. First of all, my name is Adams Abdul Salam. I'm a member of Parliament for the New Edubiasi constituency, so I'm not sure if everybody on the platform knows Ghana, but New Edubiasi is in the Ashanti region, so there are 16 regions in Ghana. So I think one of the biggest regions, is the Ashanti region. That's where my constituency is. I'm a first-term member of Parliament, seeking re-election just in December. Yes, I tried to be in Parliament for a few times, and thankfully in 2020 I got elected to be in Parliament. So basically that's my political profile. If you come to Parliament, I serve on a few committees: communication, sports, and recently I was made the chairman for the chieftaincy chieftaincy culture and religious affairs committee of Parliament in Ghana.
Fantastic. Thank you, Honorable Adams. You know, I love the way you started. You've tried a few times, but you're here. And that in
Yes.
itself is a story, because one of the things I see, a lot of us young people, we try once and we feel the system is too hard. We can't do it. We can't make it. But just from your introduction, you have already touched on this wasn't your first attempt. And
Yeah.
we certainly wish you all the best in your re-election in December. So tell us what inspired you to pursue this career in politics, especially as you didn't even stop the first time. You kept trying. And I'd love to hear your story.
Yes, when I started off in 2011, I was like 25, 26. I wanted to be in Parliament in 2012, and I had just come out of the university. And if you ask what inspired me, I would say it was the lack of opportunities. I mean, growing up with my peers, New Edbiasa is a very small community. Used to be like around the time when I was growing up, it used to be very little. It was regarded as a village then, but now has metamorphosed into a peri-urban, if you like, community. So it's much bigger now with a lot of little communities around it. So growing up there and seeing the lack of opportunity and being able to come out of all the challenges and the barriers in my community with education, in the educational system and all, to be able to make it to the university, I thought I could play a part in affecting policies in the country that allows for the opportunities that were lacking when I was growing up in my community. So I think basically growing up and seeing people sitting under the trees and wandering around and not doing nothing, going to the farm, you come back and just sit there basically, as young people was my biggest inspiration and into getting into politics. So I basically got into politics to make lives better and to make my community better, and that's what I'm trying to do right now.
So fantastic, Honorable Adams. It sounds like we share a lot in common, because I also represented, if you like, a very urban area in Oyo State. And like you said, the average young person there in the community, goes to the farm in the morning, comes back, and then is idle for the rest of the day. And then
Right.
he gets up to different other vices, you know.
Yes.
We were having a lot of teenage pregnancies and a lot of things happening. And it speaks to lack of opportunities, which is part of what government is there to provide. So that is really considerate of you. And what would you say, based on your own experience, prepared you for these challenges you're facing now, the demands of office? Is it a piece of cake? A lot of people think, oh, well, what are they doing over there? Now we'll go
No.
there, you know. So maybe we should tell us what prepared you. How has it been? Did you go through certain things that you think prepared you, or you wish you knew before you got into office?
Well, I mean, I tell everybody like who asks me a question like this
Mhm,
that when I was getting in, I knew it was going to be challenging because, I mean, for the in the first place, I mean, leading people is a whole challenge on its own. You
mhm,
know, I mean, and if you add the all the demands and of the job itself, like being in parliament
mhm,
and navigating the two political party system,
mhm,
the minority majority, what decisions to
mhm,
support the
mhm,
majority on and all that are, you know, I mean, Herculean tasks in
mhm,
themselves.
mhm,
Then when you consider, also the fact that you are coming from a very rural community,
mhm,
which is highly underdeveloped,
mhm,
I mean, that's another, chunk of challenge on its own.
mhm,
So I was under no illusions that this job was going to be challenging.
mhm.
But when I got in, I realized the challenges were even more bigger than I thought. So I was under no illusions at all. And if you ask what kept me going, I think for me it's family and
Mhm,
and my conviction and in also the motivation to help.
mhm,
So at the end of the day, every day before I go to bed, I count you know how productive I've been during the day in terms of supporting my constituents.
mhm.
And that's what keeps me going, every night and day.
Honorable Adams, let me take you back very shortly. Every time I ask young people, why do you want to get into politics? And they say, oh, I want to help people. I want to help people. And I'm like, well, you could be a doctor. You could
Yeah.
help people being a doctor. You could be a teacher. You could help people being a teacher. So, what is it about the politics for you? Why politics? Why did you not be? I mean, I know you studied a bit in Canada. You've
Yeah.
been about. So why did you stay with politics? Or is there something that has shaped your political journey?
I mean, yes, you could be a doctor and still affect people, right?
Mhm,
But if you're a doctor, people have to come to you,
hmm,
right? I mean, you could be a researcher, as I was in Canada, and
hmm,
still make impact in society.
hmm,
You know, I mean, I worked in Canada. If it wasn't for politics, I'll
hmm,
probably be somewhere in Canada, somewhere in the cold right now. And I mean, you could help society in a lot of capacities, and politics it's one of those fields that
hmm,
you could use to impact lives. So, and definitely people have to be there to do the work of politicians. Like there
hmm,
has to be, in Ghana we say, we our um, uh, political system begins from elected offices, begin from assembly member. You could be there. People, we need people to be in those positions, in the assembly membership positions. We need people to be in parliament. You need people to be. You need someone to be the vice president. You need someone to be the president. So um, um, for me, politics. Yes, you could be relevant in all other fields, but politics allows you to affect the wider society in various ways. So like I said, if you're a doctor, yes, you could help people, but people have to come to you. But in
hmm,
politics, you go to the people
hmm,
and try to solve problems of society. And I think that there has to be people in those positions, and it's not just anyone who can be a politician. I mean, you have been a politician, you are a politician, and you understand this. Some people are just not cut out for politics, so there has to be something in you, and there has to be that will to want to make impact in society, want to change society, want to affect policy at the highest level, and to impact lives positively, for you to be able to do that.
Thank you, Honorable Adams. I bet people are thinking, what is that special thing you need to be a politician? But I hear you loud and clear. You must have some convictions to go into politics. If not, you will run away. I know many people that when we were contesting, they would say things like, "Oh, Seyi, I don't know. This problem is too much. I don't even know why I bothered. I don't know why I joined."
Yes.
So you see people that have started, it looked like a nice idea to be a politician, and then they jump in and they're like, no, they call me at 4 a.m., they
It's
call
not
me
for
at
me.
2 a.m.
Yes.
What's going on? I can't even sleep. They keep calling me every time, so I bet people want to know a little bit about that, what it takes to be one. But one of the reasons why
It's
I like politics, or why I felt politics for me is the biggest platform to bring change. If
yes.
you're in education, you're in
Yes.
education. If you're in health, you're in health. If you're in tech, you're in tech. If you're in politics or governance, because obviously the end goal of politics is to be in government and affect public policy. You're making policy on health, on education, on security, on immigration, on it cuts across. And that for me is the highest level at which we can bring speed, change and development, with speed. So that's one of the things that really drives me, just wanting to see mass change, mass transformation of lives of people generally. So I want to go straight on into some of the hurdles you faced. I was sharing just before you came in, some of the hurdles that young people face that want to go into office. You know, uh, Culture, for example. Oh, you're too young. Oh, you're too young. Just wait for your turn. You're the leader of tomorrow. Wait till tomorrow. That's one of the things we've heard. We've heard, oh, you don't have the money. You need the money for the politics. And these are some of the challenges that people have when they're trying to get into office. Or, hey, you're too small, you don't have experience. Who do you know? What experience do you have? We're not talking about, this is not a small boy's business, or this is not for small people, as it were. So I think these are the challenges that young people face. And even, how do we even understand those things they call political parties? They are complex. This political party, that political party. How do I get in? Then when you get in, they already have the groups, they already have the caucus, they already have this. If you align with this person, you might become enemy to another person. If you align with this one will become your enemy. The friend of my friend is my friend. The friend of my enemy is my enemy. And these are all complex things that young people have to face when they want to get in. So Honorable Adams, I'm sure you're going to take us on that once you come in. But I want to talk about my experience again. Like I said, one of the things that, and I've listed all these challenges, but one of the things that helped me was I had the opportunity to work in government as an appointee. But not everybody is going to have the opportunity for that. So what can you do? What do you do when you're faced with this thing? I think part of it is you need to, get closer, get a good mentor, get somebody in those offices that you can, maybe during a holiday, during a break, volunteer. They are running a campaign. Can I join you? Can I add? I'm good at summarizing and writing. I'm good at speaking. I can do some PR for you. I can do some things for you. So these are all very, very, very important ways to get within the system. So
Hello.
I was able to, make that. Welcome back, Honorable Adams.
Yes, yes.
I was
Sorry,
just
I lost you.
No, no, not a problem. I was just asking that what hurdles did you face in your own journey? Because young people, there are several things. Hey, the culture, you're too young, or the money, you don't have the funds. And I'm sure you know all the hurdles, but I would like to hear what ones did you encounter and how did you overcome them? Because everybody's story is different. Like I said,
Yeah,
I had worked with a governor, so maybe I had a different entry to somebody that wasn't in government before, like yourself. So,
yeah.
how did you navigate all those challenges that young people face?
It was huge. I mean, the only reason I'm not a third term member of parliament
Hmm.
was because of my age.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
in 2012, I was going to win a primary contest against an incumbent MP, hands down.
Wow.
And the day to the elections,
Hmm.
I mean, I was told I couldn't run.
Wow.
You know,
Day
I
to the
remember
elections.
a day to the elections, and 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 why I insisted. Okay, give me reasons for my disqualification. And across the country, I was the only one in my party that
Hmm.
was disqualified and was not given the reason for their
Hmm.
disqualifications. And later on, what we heard was, I mean, how could you just come from the university and want to be in parliament?
Straight away.
You know, yes. And in the campaign, in the days leading up to the day before I was disqualified, the only attack on me was my age, the fact that I was young, the fact that I was just coming from the university. I had just come out of university in 2009
Hmm.
and did some work, family business for a bit, and then
Mhm.
decided to run at the
Hmm.
time because I thought the leadership then was poor and
Hmm.
wanted to make things better.
Hmm.
So the only negative campaign against me was the fact that I was too little, I was not married, and has never had a child.
So,
You know, so so I could relate to those challenges and very well. And even in my second attempt, it was the same. People thought I should be at least like 40 to make a case, to make a very strong case for myself to
hmm.
want to run, because the people who my contestants were old enough to be my parents. So apart from the constraints, so I think the financial constraints, like, maybe we will come to that in a bit, but apart from the financial constraints that you face,
Hmm.
definitely, if you're not a trust fund, baby, getting into elections, you definitely have to grapple with
Mhm.
money issues. I
Mhm.
mean, if you understand
Hmm.
where our politics is going right now, I think the biggest thing was for me. And when before I started, I thought that was going to be my biggest challenge until I got in the fray and
Hmm.
started hearing things about my age and started hearing things about the fact that I was childless and the fact that I was wifeless. So for me,
When
that
did
was
this
the
thing
biggest.
start to matter?
I mean, I always ask them. So when I was impressed upon to run in 2020, I said, well, like, I was around 34, 35 then.
Mhm.
But I'm still not 40, you know. So until my party actually needed me, it was
Hmm.
going to be difficult for me to make a case
Hmm.
to run an election and win on and because my party was not going to allow people were not going to allow me to run in the first place. I remember in 2016 I ran again after I was disqualified. The only campaign against me again was on my age. So I think it's is an issue of acceptance. When you get into politics in the first in at a very young age, first
Hmm.
of all, you need to get people to accept you,
Hmm.
and then after they've accepted you, they need to trust you. They need to
Hmm.
trust that they are in safe hands.
Hmm.
And and I ask, if you don't give me the opportunity, how are you going to be able to trust me? Because I haven't done, if you haven't, given me the responsibility to lead, how would you know that I can lead? So I think that was for me, it was the biggest of my challenges until now. I even as a member of parliament, and I mean, you saw me. I don't know if it's because of my stature. People see me and they still feel like I'm some 15-year-old boy being in parliament. And when I got to parliament, I remember the first time I got in the chamber. One of the ushers in the chamber came after me, asking what was I doing, what I was doing in the chamber, and I've had to carry that for 3 years. I still meet people around the chamber asking me what I was doing there. So yes, so that's become um for me the biggest hurdle that I've had to navigate, with the exception of the money and all that. So yeah,
So,
it's
yeah, do you want to tell us how you were able to, you talked about trust, and one of the things I tell people is like the sins of the fathers have come on the children. People don't
yes,
trust politicians. When I
not at
was
all.
campaigning, as soon as I get there, they're like, "Oh, you politicians have come again. You guys have
Yes,
you just lie, 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 lie. You come every
yep,
4 years, you lie, then you go again, then we don't see you." And I'm like, I'm different. Trust me.
yeah.
Just trust me. And they're like, no, we can't trust you. You're a politician. And so, how do you build trust when it's
You,
like there's a stereotype that is
you know when
how do
those
you
questions
manage?
come up, what I ask them, I think we, like you said, we have a lot of things in common, and I think Nigeria and Ghana has definitely a lot of things in common, as including politics.
Uh-huh.
So we also get that. Oh, you people lie, and you came in. The way I deal with that is to ask them to tell me when I lied, when I said something that I didn't fall through. I didn't follow through with. So that's the question that I throw to people every day. And the only way you can win people's trust is 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 to is to be honest, with people, and let them know, if they ask you for things that you can't do, you tell them the truth in their face, and let them know that yes, yeah, like I know, you need this, and you need it badly, but where I am right now, I'm unable to fulfill. Even if I promise you, I'm unable to fulfill it. And I think and I think
All right. I think we may have um, Honorable Adams may have been cut off there, but I'm sure he will log back in. But I just wanted to point out a few things he said about age, because like I said, it's a huge barrier, whether you like it or not. Then God bless you if you have a baby face or you have a slim stature. That it is. And if you think about it, this is the prototype of the average politician you've seen is probably somebody with a big belly, that is the prototype. So even young people don't aspire to be politicians. I knew from a young age I was going to go into governance and politics. But in my own mind, the age I thought I would go in was age 50, because I hadn't seen any young politicians. And that's why it's so important we get more young people into parliament, so that people can start to see new prototypes, new models of leaders in politics that they can aspire to be like. Because if you don't have people that young people can look at and say, I want to be like that, I can, if he can do it, I can do it. If you don't have that, then you're going to certainly struggle. Honorable Adams, please continue your conversation. I was just talking about the
yes.
need for young prototypes to aspire other young people.
Yes, definitely. So what I mean by what I do to navigate, the issue of mistrust, and there's a lot of it. So I I try to, as much as I can, be a man of my word.
Absolutely.
I mean, in Africa, people think politicians are capable of doing everything. And
Mm.
I'm sure it's like that
Yes.
in Nigeria as well. Like, people actually think politicians are capable of turning men into women. So yes, so you need to let people know that no,
Mm.
because sometimes, for the fear of losing an elections,
Mm.
or
You promise all
or
sorts.
you make people make ridiculous promises, and if you're a
Mm.
young man, it will
Mm.
catch up with you because
Absolutely.
I mean, you're going to be in the business for a very long time,
Mm. Mm.
and you keep going to back to the same people.
And the internet never forgets.
No, I mean, especially in the day of social media, you get your
Exactly.
receipts.
Exactly.
When you show up back, at the same people, and you're able to
So,
fulfill, because some of the promises, there are no way you'll be able, as a
no, no,
legislator, you'll be able
exactly.
to fix them. Some of the problems are as old as your grandparents, you know, and yes, people feel that it has to take government to do it. But people don't even understand
Mm.
that if you are the member of parliament, it's not
Mm.
your job to fix
No, you're
certain
just
things
a
in their
legislator.
society.
Yes, yes.
So that's the reality we live with,
Mm. Mm.
especially in Africa.
Mhm.
And because of the burden of re-elections, most of the time you
Mm.
want to go to the people, whatever
Mm.
they say, you're not at it.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I think the most crucial um, uh, thing for young politicians is honesty.
Yeah.
Is to be
Okay.
honest. That's the
So
only way you can navigate all the
the
some of these issues.
yeah, the trust issue. Do you have any particular strategies that you use that because now I think everybody knows the problems. You're
Yes.
young, you don't have the money, you don't have the connection, you don't have the structure, you don't even understand the way the party. So the hurdles are clear. What strategies did you use or do you know of that young people should start to think of because there are many people on this call across Africa. We have Cameroon here, we have Sierra Leone, we have Togo, we have Ghana, we have Nigeria, we have Kenya. There are people from across Africa listening, and many have this aspiration to one day, go into politics or be a member of government in one way or the other. So, what strategies can we use, or can young people use to overcome all these hurdles, this big cloud waiting on us or in front of us? How do we overcome them? You know?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, it's like you said, it's a cloud,
Mm,
hanging over us, and you need to
mm,
clear those clouds.
mm,
And the only way you can clear those clouds, it's is to continuously engage.
mm, mm,
So my strategy
mm,
in dealing with things that I can't handle, but
mm,
people expect me to handle,
mm,
is to engage these
mm,
people and
mm,
try to explain to them
mm,
why I'm trying so hard,
mm,
to get the people who are supposed to handle these issues handle them, and why I cannot do them by myself.
mm,
So if you're a young person, first of all, you should know that when you get the opportunity, when people put their trust in you and give you the opportunity to serve for the first time, it's a test. Hello.
yes, go ahead.
Yes, it's a test. And it's a test you can only pass if you get back to the people that
Mm,
gave you the mandate
mm,
to serve in that place,
mm,
for you to be able to communicate clearly to them and
mm,
let them know what issues you have. But for most of us, because of the fear of being called a loser, or of not being able to fulfill all those promises, you tend to um, um, want to disengage, you know, with the people that
mm,
gave you the mandate. So
mm,
my strategy has to be, yes, I came to your community.
mm,
You asked me for ABC.
mm,
I went back to the capital,
mm.
went back to the, um,
Yeah.
took your demand, your request to the floor of parliament. This is what
Mm,
speaker said. This is
mm,
what the minister in charge said.
mm,
This, communicate clearly, what the issues about them. And if you're able to, solve some of the problems, then you also have to go back to them and explain to them how you were able to solve the problem, so that it doesn't raise expectations elsewhere as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Honorable Adams. Now, Honorable Adams has just an hour on this call. So please, if you have any questions, do start to put them in the chat box, and we will attend to them in the next 5 minutes or so. But I just really want to take, some of the things you've said. Character is so critical. A lot of times people are interested in what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? They're almost interested in the doing, but not interested in who I am, who I become in the process. And so I can teach you the skills, be this, be that, but or do this, do that. But more importantly is who you are. And like you said, as a lawmaker, my job is not to build roads. That's for the executive. I'm to represent you, I'm to oversight the executive, and I am to make laws, and the like. So explaining to people, engaging people, I think is extremely important. And I mean, for me, one of the things that really helped me was, having a personal brand. We were able to really get almost like a movement, going in my time, and just being able to work with other young people. It really gave us, a lot of, if you like, credibility that, okay, well, he has a bit of a following, so maybe he can win an election, because like you said, the starting point is people don't trust you. And that's why you must be close to the people, grassroots, and organizing, grassroots engagement, community engagement, being with the people. I was with the farmers, I was with the teachers, I was with the tailors, I was with the plumbers. You have to, you can't keep a gap between you and the people. It's not.
I mean, the biggest thing is, like, they don't understand, right? If they don't understand and you don't tell them what your challenges is and what your responsibilities are, and what you could actually do, then they run away in their ignorance. I mean, excuse me to say, so there are a lot of people who are ignorant about, the work of government. You understand? And by so they and the reason members of parliament or elected, officials, especially at the grassroots and at the various districts, are the targets, are because you are the ones who get in their faces every 4 years, to ask them for their votes, and once you are the one on the ballot, and you are the one that's closest to them, you are the one that gets all the demands. So there has to be a way that allows you to explain clearly in clear terms. And the only way you could do that is by continuously engaging. And some of our constituencies, my constituency, for instance, is one of the biggest, in terms of land size, in the country. So engagement is a very, very difficult thing to do, but you need to do it. You need to find a way to get to the people and to explain to them what exactly you are up to, and to let them understand the challenges that you face. That's the only way people would understand you.
Yeah, and I think as young people as well, we also, I mean, 100%, we have to do that. But I ironically, I had a good following on Facebook, social media, tech. These are some of the competitive advantages as well that the older people I was running against did not use. And so I had a lot of people, young people following. And these are the things young people have to start to think, what do we have that we are going to use when you're going into elections, into anything? What do we have? So I was using Facebook. I had Facebook pages, groups. We were doing a lot from there. I was getting feedback. I was getting a lot of things. So that is important. And then before you started, I was talking about, and young people must learn to be mentored. They must go and learn too. And I'm sure if I ask you about mentorship, you probably have some seniors that you go to and you speak, because every industry, as it were, has its own rules, and you must learn from those that have gone before. So work with other young people, but learn from those that have gone before you. So I think
And
that's extremely important. You wanted to say something?
yes, I mean that's critical. I mean you you wouldn't know, PhDs and all the academic, accolades you could have would mean nothing until you get to parliament. I'm
Hmm.
sure, I'm sure you may have experienced that when you go to into the state parliament in Nigeria. I mean, you get here and it's a different ball game altogether,
Actually.
you know,
Hmm.
and you need to start learning from scratch.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you may be found wanting. So I mean, mentorship is extremely important.
Mhm.
You need to have people that understand, the trade.
Hmm.
You need to have people that are experienced. You need to have people that understand. I mean, when you get to parliament, the first thing they give you is your standing orders.
Hmm.
And sometimes, I'm sure many of us, until we got here, we didn't even know what standing orders was,
Yes.
until we got here.
Hmm.
So you need people to help you navigate, the challenges in the house itself. And mentorship is key. I have my own, mentors that you run to depending on what the issue is.
Hmm.
So that's extremely key in helping you,
Hmm.
also learn your trade and growing in whatever endeavor you are in.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Adams. I know again you're pressed for time, so we're going to start taking the questions. The questions will come on the screen, and Honorable Adams, I will let you take the lead. I'm always on the call, so I would join in where I feel maybe I should add something, but I'll just let you take the lead. You can read the questions and then answer it. We have a few of them before your time. You have to leave.
Okay. Okay. So that will be in the comments.
Yes. Oh, it's on the screen. It
How
says
do I deal with issues? Yes, on the screen. Yes. So
The, do you want me to read it out? Can you see it on your screen? It says
yes.
considering the
How
low,
the first
yeah,
Okay, yes. The first one,
yes.
considering the low number of women in political positions in Nigeria, how can the younger ones navigate through the challenges women are facing?
Mm.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Um.
Are you there? Vasti Balajoda. I think I'm Honorable Adams, are you still there? I think
Yes, I'm here.
one of the things I would say is, which we've already started talking about is get
Mm-hmm.
a woman mentor. There's something I have worked with different women in parliament, and one of them told me, oh, women can be your best friends. They supported me, they came out in groups, and I won my election because of women. And then another one in a different parliament told me, women are so wicked, they didn't support
Mm.
me. In fact, if not for the men, I wouldn't have won. The women were against me. So this women, both of them were women, and one
Mm-hmm.
was saying, oh, women helped me to win. And the other one was saying, women worked against me. So it does tell me that just being a woman is not enough to win. You have to go and learn what is it that makes it possible for you to be able to glean support of the wider women community. It's not enough to say I'm a woman, every woman must support me. No, because women, gender, age, they are not ideologies. Every woman can have different aspiration, every young person can have. So you must learn how to engage with the woman folk, not just because they are women they must support you, but you need to learn that trait, and preferably from another woman that has gone through the ropes and understands the same issues that you'll be facing. I think that's
Yes.
how I would answer that question personally. I think it's
Yes.
important.
So and the other thing is, in Ghana, we just passed the affirmative action bill.
Okay.
I think that we have to be deliberate about propping up women in our society, especially in politics. I mean, in Ghana, we only have about 40 women
How many are you in the
on
parliament?
on both sides. There are 275 of us. There's only 40 women,
Oh, that's a lot.
and yeah, well, that's a lot. But we
Nigeria
still
has less
feel
than 20 in 360.
in amongst how many members?
Three at the House of Representatives, we have
Yes.
360, and I'm sure they have less than 20 in
Wow.
2023.
And
Um,
I, and I,
in the Senate, we have 109, and I'm sure it's less than 10 there.
and
Or
I and I don't think that's good enough. I
it's
mean,
not. It's not.
there are a lot of things that only women can do in
Hmm,
society,
hmm,
and we need women's, views reflected in the laws we make,
hmm,
in policies that we enact,
hmm,
in as a country. So in Ghana, we are trying to be deliberate about women empowerment. We are trying to be deliberate about propping up women,
hmm,
especially in politics, to
hmm,
take out important roles. So over the past 6 years,
hmm,
over the past 8 years, we've had women in positions that women had never been
hmm,
before in this country. We just had a retired Chief Justice,
hmm,
first chief woman Chief Justice,
hmm,
and then when she retired,
hmm,
deliberately, I mean, the president decided to replace her with another woman,
hmm,
and the only way women, like you were saying, women could come up and assume these positions and be confident about it, or dare to run elections in our part of the world, is seeing that there are other women that are doing it.
hmm, hmm,
That's I think that's one of the things. And the questioner also talked about sentiments. I mean, in politics, yes, sentiments are not exclusive to only women.
hmm,
I mean, politics is extremely sentimental,
hmm,
and it doesn't matter if whether you're a woman or a man. I mean, you have to be able to watch, your sentimentalities, and how you deal with how you handle issues that are sensitive. And I'm sure this is peculiar to women because of all the attacks that comes to women when they decide or dare to run for public offices, you know so yeah, I mean, I think that we have to be deliberate, but women have to also um hello.
yes.
Yes, and I yes. So I think women have to also, dare to dream,
Yes.
and dare to take positions,
Yes.
and like you said, not only try to reach out to women,
Hmm,
and shouldn't cry foul if women do not support what they are
hmm,
doing. They should be able to reach out to,
hmm,
a wider demographics
hmm.
than sticking with just women.
Hmm. Very, very, very true points. Very true points. So many things I want to say, but time is against us. So I'll just let the questions go on. Says, thank you, Honorable Adams. You mentioned you had to endure your age barrier hurdle amongst others for 8 years. How was the waiting period like, and what did you do in that waiting period to position yourself for your current position?
So in that waiting period, I mean, when I was getting into it, again, I was under no illusion that I could I could fail. So I had my plans laid out already. I mean, you mentioned I lived in Canada. I didn't go to Canada until my first attempt to get into Parliament. So I moved to Canada in 2013 after the 2012 elections, when things didn't work out, and I had already planned that right um, after university. My first attempt was to try to get to Parliament. If it didn't work out, I wanted to improve myself, add value, and that was the reason I decided to go to Canada. Because if I stayed back, the distractions would have been a lot, and would have been difficult for you to add value, locally. So I decided to go to Canada, and whilst I was there, I was still in touch and kept engaging with people who didn't trust me, trying to earn their trust. And so that was what the 8 years waiting was about. was trying to improve myself and to also earn the trust of people who thought I was too young to be in parliament, who thought I couldn't carry the mantle because over the years the only people that had been members of parliament in my constituency were older people who were old enough to be my parents. So in that period, I think there are a lot of things I did within that 8 year period to prepare myself. And sometimes I say to myself, and I wonder if that was a blessing in disguise, because I feel that I came to parliament better prepared than I probably would have been in 2012 or in 2016, because I had gotten more exposed,
mm,
by being in Canada, and I
mm,
had, worked
mm,
under in institutions,
mm,
affected policies
mm,
elsewhere, and that really,
mm.
came in handy when I came to parliament. So as you wait, you need to keep improving yourself. If there are people that you need to earn their trust in society, you work at it.
Hmm. Fantastic. Tenacity, resilience, persistence, but improving
Yes.
yourself all along. Now we have just about 5 more minutes on River Adams. Maybe we'll just make our answers shorter so we can take
Yes.
as many as we can before you leave. It says, how do I deal with the issue of political sentiments where you become an enemy of others for aligning with others? So the friend of my friend is my friend, the friend of my enemy is my enemy type of
No.
thing.
No. I mean, I always say I don't see why people have to be enemies because they they uh they have different opinions, and that's when we have chosen to practice democracy. I think we need to accept each other, accept that that's what democracy is about. After elections, the goal has to be how to improve society and how to improve the lives of people that voted for us. So um I try as much as sometimes you feel hard done by, people who don't share your views, but that's what democracy is about.
Hmm. And I think just to add to that is that you have a role to make sure you reach out wide. Don't box
Yes.
yourself to, I only talk to these people, I only deal with these people. You're a politician. You must have a good, strong network across party lines. You must be able to
Yes.
deal and engage with people across so that you don't say, because he's fighting this, I'm not going to talk to him. So to say,
No.
it can be a bit dangerous because
I
you
mean, if you don't talk to people, how do you get your points across to them?
exactly. So you want to make sure
So
you have a widespread across. All
no,
right, let's.
I think one of the freedoms you could have in politics is being an minded person.
Hmm.
Approach politics with an open mind, and you see that there are no enemies in politics at all.
Mm, mm. We say Nigeria is no permanent enemy, just interest. Interest
No,
changes, so you change with the interest. There are no
def-
enemies. Today our
definitely.
interest may not align, but tomorrow it may align. So
Yes,
we may
yes,
work
and
again. Yeah.
and some of my staunch supporters right now were
Mm.
some of the people that called me too young to be to
Opposition in
be a
the
member of
past.
parliament.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's how it always works. The same people that
yes,
appoint me are some of my best followers and people today. Okay, now how were you able to be resilient? I heard you speak about how you were not given the platform. I think you've answered. How do you keep going? You've answered that. Um, how can young aspiring politicians overcome the age and experience barrier? I think we've kind of touched on that.
yeah. But
Um,
that what I say is, I mean, like you said, sometimes you want to quit, but
mm,
the only way you can stay in politics is by not quitting.
mm, mm.
Because
It's a
when you start,
marathon, it's not a sprint.
it's a marathon. I mean, and that's why you need to have a plan.
Mm,
That yes, I'm running for office. If it
mm,
doesn't work,
mm,
you must have something to fall on
mm,
that improves you, that makes you better,
mm,
you know a better candidate when you try to run again.
mm,
You
mm.
understand? So the only way to this, the only way you stay relevant in politics is by not quitting.
That's right. That's right. I'm not in office, but I haven't left politics one bit.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable Adams, the major and dominating political parties are mostly dominated by the older politicians with the bad culture and practices. How will the younger politicians escape being influenced by these bad culture and practices?
Well, I mean, stay true to your convictions,
Mm,
stay true to your principles.
mm,
If you didn't get into politics because you wanted to enrich yourself, then stay true to that. If you didn't get into politics because of the fame of it, you have to stay true to that.
mm,
And I think one of the ways that you 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 set the barriers, between you and people that you don't want to be influenced, is by them know is by letting them know that this is what you stand for.
mm,
Most of the times we don't stand for anything,
mm,
and we complain about everything.
mm,
So, you need to stand for something, and you
mm,
need to stay true to it. I think that's the only way. Otherwise, I mean, the influences are everywhere. I mean, the
mm,
first when people want to win souls to
mm,
themselves,
mm.
and if you allow yourself, you're going to get influenced in the ways that are against your principles and your own convictions. So I would say stay true to yourself.
Mm.
If you are not, you should set a culture for yourself and live
So
with it.
absolutely. I think you couldn't have answered that better.
Mhm.
You need to let your values be known quickly because
Yeah,
people always test people. Is it going to compromise? Is it not?
yeah,
They're testing you part time. But once people
yes,
know very quickly, oh no, he won't do that. No, he's a hardliner. That's why you hear some people are right wing, left wing, and they are hardcore. They stay with their
yes,
values and they are strong. And so, yes, you may not get some people to be with you, no problem, but you stay true to yourself and you can go to bed at night having peace that you've not lost yourself in the process. Well, we've really come to an end. I know there's one more question, but I did promise Honorable Adams he's out of his
so
recess.
if you have a question, you can
Okay,
you can
just the
take.
last one
Yeah,
from Mary.
yes.
It says, should there be an age bracket for participation in governance or politics? Women are faced with a lot of challenges in politics, and we're still advocating for more inclusive participation in governance. So I think this is, I mean, you've spoken about this, but this is probably
Mhm.
talking about should there be maybe a law or a policy that is set in stone? And then the question I sometimes ask is, if how do you choose which constituency women should come from? Because if
Mhm.
you say this constituency and the men say, no, 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 this is not where we want women to come from, can
Yes.
you do that for elective office or is it more for appointive office? Would love to hear from
Well,
you.
it's easier with appointive officers.
Mm,
For elective officers, is a bit more, challenging to say that, okay, like for my constituency, you want a woman to run. What if majority of the people don't don't want? They probably don't mind having a woman, but they probably may not like, the candidate that you're putting forward. So they have to. But again, that's the only way, we could also prop up women,
mm,
because men are more dominant in our
mm,
politics.
mm.
It's difficult for women to break through because of the obvious, barriers,
Yes.
and even it's even more pronounced,
Mm,
in Africa than
that's
for cultural reasons, and all the other reasons that we know. So it's definitely difficult. But I mean, we talked about the affirmative action bill today, in our meeting. The president hasn't signed it yet.
mm,
We as we're doing it, we were not um, blindsided by the practical challenges that we will face in implementing them.
mm.
But then we have to start from somewhere.
Right.
We definitely need gender balance in all aspects of our lives,
Mm.
and we have to take a step. If
Yes.
you don't do it, you wouldn't know it.
You, you know,
So
I always tell a joke. Well, not a joke, a real life situation. When I was in office, my wife asked us to do a padded drive, which was to give sanitary pads to girls in secondary school. As brilliant as that idea was, I could never have thought about it. I could
yeah,
never, because it's just
yes,
not natural, biological to me. And so we did it, and it was so good. We helped so many ladies, young ladies, and that is why you cannot afford to not have women or youth on the table. It
no,
enriches quality of decision making, because you have all the players on the table and then you have better decision making. Wow.
Yes.
Honorable Adams Abdul Salam, I must really thank you. You came out of recess just to have this conversation with us, and we do not take it for granted. On behalf of the African Governance Institute for Development and everyone here from different African countries, as you've seen in the comment section, we really want to say thank you for spending the hour with us. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and insight. Thank you for being true to yourself, having character, having values, and showing us that young people indeed can take office and lead with character, with competence, and with courage. And we really want to celebrate you for your time this evening, joining us on your break. For our members, thank you so much for joining today. There is a survey in the comment section. Please fill out the survey. It would help us to serve you better. We know where we should be, the areas you want us to talk more about, so that you can continue to learn and we can continue to bring you better webinars that will help you. Once again, thank you for joining this evening. Thank you for being a part of